Okay, says I'm live and there's nobody here yet. So if you're watching on YouTube, just scrub forward until you see stuff start happening. And I'm going to do Pantone cards today. A couple of them, I hope. So we'll just see. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Kat. Kat, I had a crazy thing happen at Dee Dee's this morning where everything just quit working. My mouse didn't work. Dee Dee was frozen. I couldn't X out. It was just crazy. And I thought, oh my gosh, did Dee Dee go crazy or did I go crazy? I think I went crazy. But I couldn't do anything. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Terry. Hi, Missy. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen again. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Laverne. Laverne, I got your cards to show today. If anybody sees Joyce, Dee Dee, keep an eye out for her. I still haven't gotten her email. So that was crazy this morning. Hey, Keeks. Hey, Lady Jan, I'm going to show your cards today, too. I got 4 to show today. And Dawn, I've got Dawn's, and I don't remember the other one. Jutta. So, hey, Bossy Butt. Hi, Barbara. Same thing happened to you. Had to leave YouTube and stuff. Okay, then maybe it was a YouTube problem, but it was really weird because for a good 30 seconds at least, my mouse wouldn't work. Nothing was working. Oh, hey, Jetta, I'm going to show you cards today. Hi, Ego Brain. Full moon, is that what it is, Lady Jan? I know the moon the last couple of nights has been gorgeous. Me too, Keeks. Love seeing everybody's creativity. Hi, Brenda. So it's fun to get them. And Dee Dee, I don't know if those cards Boo was making were for the ATC swap, but if they were, then she needs to do her own submission and she should get some back. Full flower moon in Scorpio. I'm Scorpio, Lady Jan. So does that mean I'm extra crazy this month or what? I need to know, because if I'm going to be extra crazy, I'm going to wear my new silver hat that's coming and go to Walmart. They were the extras. Well, then I don't know. I just think Boo should be able to participate with us if she wants. That's just my feeling. And y'all can vote or do whatever you want. No comment. Hi, Kristen. Yeah, I really like those 2 Keeks. They were really pretty. And Dee Dee said she stamped with gold, and I'm assuming that she was using the mica ink. And the other day I got, believe it or not, I got my small jelly plate out and used them for stamping too. And they work great. But one thing I would tell you is if you do that, wash your stamps immediately. That stuff dries really quick. Did I get your text? Let me look. I've been away from my phone, so it's rare that I'm away from my phone, but yeah, all the ATCs were good. I've got a message unread, so let me see, Kat. Oh, okay. I'll just go ahead and address it here in chat. And this really needs to be decided by Dee Dee because oh, you used gold paint. Okay, well, it came out great. But I think you can use that mica ink too, because I did, and it worked great. I just milled it out on the jelly plate and then stamped in it. And I don't remember what I was working on because I wouldn't normally do something like that. But anyway, this is something I think Dee Dee needs to address, or we can have a discussion about it away from your phone. I know it is scary. But I almost typed in the exact same thing you did, Kat. But this morning, Dee Dee did giveaways and did 3 international, 3 domestic, and then later just did a spontaneous giveaway. And we've never had a rule about if you won earlier, can you win again? I have heard Dee Dee say, you know, oh, just let somebody else win. And then Dorothy, who had won in the first giveaway, won the second one. No big deal, probably. Hey, Joyce, I got something to say to you in a minute. But I don't know. I think just out of consideration for the other fibs, if it were me personally, I would not join in the second giveaway because, yeah, I just let the other fibs get a chance at winning something. Hi, Belinda, but that's just me. Hi, Zen Jen. And Dee Dee, now that Kat has brought it up, because we've never had any real clarity there, I don't know. You can make a decision but my feeling is if you win once in a giveaway, step back and let somebody else win. That's just how I feel. Yeah, but I almost typed in the exact same thing because Kat had typed into chat to Joanne, let somebody else get a chance. And I concurred completely. But then Dorothy won. But if you're in a giveaway with Dorothy, just delete your number because you aren't going to win anyway. Dorothy wins everything. But we'll cut some slack for Dorothy. What the hell? And then Joyce, I haven't gotten an email, and then I checked with Dee Dee before I came on here, and Dee Dee had also not gotten your email. So I'm beginning to think maybe it's on your end. And this is my solution. You can do it or not, whatever you want. But if your son has an email account, have him use his email account to email me, and I'll get it back to him. Yeah, see, Joanne, I knew you probably wouldn't feel stepped on or anything. So, yeah. And I don't know that we've ever had a rule. I've just heard Dee Dee say that before, that let somebody else win. But it was so spontaneous that, we don't have written rules for giveaway. We just kind of wing it. And hopefully everybody's happy. I know I'm happy for everybody who wins. So, yeah, not that big a deal. And if it is that big a deal, send me an email and I'll send you something. How about that? Unless you're Joyce Boying, of course, who can't email me for whatever reason, but then I can't email her either. So that's why I'm wondering if it isn't something on her end. But anyway, we're doing the best we can around here, you guys. Yeah, you do win. And if you're international, that's the cool thing. You have a better chance of winning, but you're up against Raul and Dorothy. Yeah. And maybe we should have a rule, one winner per day, Dee Dee, and that's entirely up to you. And I'm not sure I would think about it if I was doing a giveaway. So there you go. Just more housekeeping going on. Anyway, let me show you guys the happy mail that I've gotten this week for the ATC giveaway. And one of them is not, but what the heck. Let me move this because you'll see that again in a minute. All right, the first one, and these are in no particular order, probably the order that they came to me in. First one is from Laverne, who is in chat today. And I look at these when they come, but then I forget. There's Dorothy. You heard that we're going to cut you some slack, Dorothy? Well, it's, I'm not pointing a finger at you, Dorothy. I'm just saying you're damn lucky. You win a lot. And, yeah. Yeah, I like Dee Dee's postcard too. Okay, this is Laverne Hodges. And she did collage. Let me pull the camera down so you guys can maybe see them a little bit. She did them all different. LBJ Presidential Library. Cowboy hat stamp. I don't think they're all Texas, if I remember right. They're not all Texas. Tacos. You guys have great ephemera, I have to say. There's the Alamo. I've been there multiple times. Dee Dee lived in Texas, so she's probably been there too. The Space Center in Houston. And now there's a new city in Texas called, what is it, Starship or something like that. But what used to be Boca Chica, and if you've ever been down to South Padre, you can see Boca Chica. Hi, Barb Owen. Yeah, that's Starship City now or something like that. Elon Musk, where he's launching the his rockets. Lone Star State. Here's London. Great ephemera, I have to say. I don't know where you guys find the perfect size stuff. I'm jelly of Sam getting to go to London this summer. She sounds so excited. I'm happy for her. There's another Texas one. Oops, better get it down here in the camera, right? The Netherlands. I love them all. Another Texas. Tower of the Americas. I've been to Dealey Plaza. That whole thing is really weird. Like, I don't know. All this stuff coming out about JFK's assassination and stuff. I'm not sure that we're learning a whole lot more. And this is how I think about it, because I am a conspiracy theorist freak, and that's why I'm getting a silver hat in the mail this week. The people who were involved were not dumb, okay? And I don't think it was a lone gunman. I don't think all that. Everything about it just is too weird. But do you honestly think they're going to leave evidence behind? Really? Hi, Kimberly. I mean, if they're that dumb, then I don't even know what to say. Really, Zenjin? Her grandfather was a longtime Texas congressman. Cool. And here's another England one. I love the crown. I'll probably keep this card just so you guys know which one you're not going to get. I probably will keep the one with the crown. Just saying. And then I'll, of course, share them with Dee Dee, but I'll cheat and make sure I get that one and she doesn't. And there's my queen. Very well done, Laverne. Thanks for playing with us. I am a conspiracy chicken. But I think we're lied to constantly. That is ultimately how I feel about everything. We are lied to 24/7 around the clock. Don't believe anything you hear, especially if you hear it on the news. Go check. Find some place to go check, because they're lying to you constantly. Sorry if I burst anybody's bubble, but they're lying to you. They are good. They're very good. And the next one is from, and I have to say, if I hadn't read down in the address, it came in as JG Wanamaker, which I'm sure I've gotten mail, but maybe my memories. But when it said Quail Hill, I knew immediately that this was Lady Jan. And she sent me some really pretty paper. She says, it's also for me, Florentine gold embossed paper. Isn't that gorgeous? To the hostess with the mostess. Oh, body parts, sorry. Terry, do you want me to move my thumb? Because there's body parts there. I don't care, but yeah. Yes, I will, Keeks, yeah. Usually I just randomly pick one. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it, but anything with a crown on it, hello. So that's very cool. And did you get to see David in person? It's okay, seen it now. Thank you, Lady Jan. You must have known that I would like David. And okay, Dee Dee has nothing on Lady Jan when it comes to taping up a package. That's all I got to say. And these, I'm pretty sure, are photos that Jan took when she visited Italy. All crowns belong to the host, absolutely. You got a sneak peek, Cassie? Okay. Will that do it for you, or do we have to do a repeat? She got to see David up close and personal. I might be a little jelly there, but we won't talk about it. I think you like putting your thumb on it. Ooh, now I gotta wipe my thumb off. The photos are great, Lady Jan. They really are. I think it'd be so much fun to visit. So it looks like there's 3 different ones, 3 of each. Look at that. Florence, Italy. Be crazy to live there, wouldn't it? And they feel old, and I don't know, there's just something. You're good now? Okay, cool. Yeah, these are great, Lady Jan. So if you're playing with us, who knows? You might get one of these. Well done, Lady Jan. And honestly, Jan, the way you tape up packages, you could actually send gold bars because nobody would ever get into it. Look at the back. Okay, I'm sorry, Lady Jan. I probably did when they came. Travels with Mr. Bear and Bean Juice, Italy, autumn 2015. The Florentine paper is from Ponte Vecchio, I don't know, bookshop. Photos, Lady Jan. Okay, awesome. Look at that coffee there. And then the backs are all the same. So she inserted a little piece of the paper in there for everybody. It is very pretty. Thank you, Lady Jan. Yeah, it does have, they're really, really lovely for sure. But yeah, she could send gold and money in her packages because the post office guy would quit before he got the package open. Just saying. And this is from Dawn. Hang on, I'm opening up. And Dawn says, this is her first ATC swap, unsure of the approach. I decided to begin without a specific plan, unable to choose a country. I used a website that randomly selected New Zealand. I proceeded to learn about New Zealand. See, that's what I think is so cool about the Passport Journal, is that I've had to go research and learn things. Due to space constraints, I selected the national symbol, the kiwi bird, along with some fun facts. Now I'm inspired to start a passport journal. Dawn, I would highly, highly recommend it. New Zealand is one of the most unique destinations on Earth where scenes of sweeping, verdant landscapes and pristine wilderness abound. So all of hers are the same, and they've got a sheep on it, the flag, a little kiwi bird. Looks like a stamp, an old stamp from New Zealand, and then Lord of the Rings. The kiwi bird is the most well-known species and is the national symbol. There is a significantly larger sheep population than human population, with a ratio of about 5 to 20 sheep for every 1 person. Now, see, you come here and you learn stuff like that. Fun fact, Lord of the Rings saga was filmed in New Zealand. I think I did actually know that. But I don't know what you did on your background, Dawn, but it's very cool. So for your first ATC swap, you did awesome. So I hope you enjoy what you get back. And I can't remember. Okay, yeah, 10. I don't know. A couple different people have sent more than the required numbers. So thank you for doing that. It really makes the swap easy when you guys do that. But you're not required to, for sure. And Dee Dee always makes extra, and I always make extra. So we should be good. And Dawn taped her like a normal person. And then the last one I have to show today is from Jutta. Fun envelope covered with stampage. And she put hers in a sleeve. Let me open this other one first. And you're welcome. I'm happy to host. But in her package, look, sent me tons of postage. I love postage. I'm not sure if this is your dad or whoever it is, but thank you for the picture of the man. It's not David, but he'll do. So yeah, just a bunch of fun ephemera. So thank you very much. Because I do love me some postage. Most of it looks like it's Canadian. So that's awesome. Thank you. And she's looking forward to receiving Happy Mail. So I'm looking forward to sending it. And she did put hers in a sleeve. Not necessary to do that. Czechoslovakia, and she put postage on each one. So I think I will go ahead because you'll be able to see them better if I take them out. And then I'll leave. I think I'm at about 12, Joanne. That one's cute with the little pull tab on it. You did great, Jetta. These are awesome. I'm going to flip through them after I get them out of the sleeve. Okay, now I think you'll be able to see them better now. Hi, Starla. Can you guys see them? Yeah, I think this is better. That's USA. Redwood Forest. Great stampage where the redwoods meet the sea. Oh, and this one has a little pocket on the back of it, and it has a little article. Well, now, isn't this a cool thing? About Redwood National State Park and state parks. John Steinbeck called old-growth redwoods ambassadors from another time, and these immense redwoods can live an astounding 2,000 years and grow over 300 feet tall. Many threatened and endangered species rely on the parks as crucial havens of survival. More than 200 miles of trails weave through a variety of environments, including prairies, old-growth redwood forests, and beaches. I've been out to see the redwoods, and they are remarkable. It's a remarkable place. If you've never been, I would say plan a trip. Worth your time. And this is Canada. Nice. Amber Valley, Alberta. Very well done, Jetta. And look at these little tiny doilies. Malaysia. Australia. Look at the kangaroo. Oh my God. He is so cute. Look at him. Little koala in his pocket. Love that. Another Australia. This is Czechoslovakia. That's a stamp that she put on there. Cool backgrounds. Very cool backgrounds. This is Norway. Oh, well, I would have known that, Norge, if I'd just looked. Another Czechoslovakia. Cool ephemera. And that's also Italy. Well done. Very well done. Hi, Barbara Clark. You live in the Redwoods? Lucky you. Yeah, these are well done. The backgrounds are very cool, very layered, textury. Yeah, they feel really good. So some of them you're going to have to take out of their sleeves when you get them just to feel what they feel like. But well done, Jetta. Very cool. Okay, make sure I get everything put back like I should. Don't want to lose anything. Okay. I need to go count and see how many we've gotten. I think a lot of people, I'll be getting a lot this week. And if Robert surfaces, before I'm done here, I'll have him go check the mail. And then I got some fun Happy Mail from Bossy Butt. And I watched her do this on stream. Your transfers are amazing. And they're on the washi sticker paper, so you can see what's back behind her. I love that washi sticker paper. Love it so much. And she sent me one of her used baby wipes, no scent. And then some of her other work, jelly plate stuff, which is very cool. If you want to learn jelly print, go watch Devin. That's all I can say. I have jelly plates. I just don't use them. See, this is on that washi, so I'll be able to peel this off and use it. I love that crazy stuff. Love it. And it feels cool. I don't know. Say cheese. I laughed out loud when I saw this, Devin. Say cheese. So yeah, this is all stuff on that washi sticker paper. It's awesome. Very awesome. I love this too. I watched. Is this the paper you did with your sister? I think it is. That looks so much fun. And on that washi paper, here, we're going to put one of those in the beast for today. You're so welcome, Bossy. I don't know if you guys can get it in Canada still. That's what Starla sent me last week. I put it in the beast. Let's see where we're at in the beast. Here, I'll show you guys the beast because I've been working on my stamp catalog, you know, my stamp sample. So I've been stamping in here. Let's see, that was Wednesday, Thursday. That was yesterday, which I haven't done much with. And then this was today's. So let's put one of these happy circles next to the flower. Okay, I thought it was, Devin, that you and your sister did it. And your sister isn't bossy like you. Hang on, I'm going to put it over here and I'll write my stream stuff on there. Look at how cool that is. You just slap it down and it's there. Oh. And then this one, Who Let the Cows Loose? I told Dee Dee this story. Saturday, I got a call from my neighbor. Now, you have to remember, I live in kind of a resort area on the lake. And there is a huge, huge resort 2 miles down the road from me. Beautiful golf courses and all this stuff. And anyway, got a call from my neighbor who has 13 acres directly across the street from me. And she said, I just wanted to call you guys and tell you don't freak out if you see the fire department over in my field. Somebody had told her that there were cows out in her field. And we don't have cows here, you guys. Well, obviously we do, but Monkey Island is an island, actually a peninsula, about 7 miles long, and about 2.5 miles down the road, there is a marketplace that sells beef that they grow, and some other stuff too, but it's a kind of a high-end, pricey place, but they have cows on their land. I don't know how many acres they have down there. Turns out the cows got loose. Hi, Debbie Epps. Hi, Angie. Anyway, the cows got loose, and they were running all over Monkey Island, and they ended up in my neighbor's field across the street. And I just was going, this is the craziest thing I have ever heard. And so pretty much forgot about it. Robert went over and looked, and he said, I think there are guys over there trying to catch the cows. And so then I just went on about my day. And then I get a text from my next door neighbor, and she said, we've got cows out in the backyard because our yards adjoin and there's no fence or anything between us, so you don't know where one ends and the next begins. She said, we've got cows out in our backyard. Sure enough, let me show you guys. Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much. Let me show you. This is crazy, you guys. Let me see where it is. Okay, it's the second one. This is our backyard. And those are her dogs out there. Can you see the cows? Oh, you guys can't see them that well. The cows are running all over the place. So I never heard what happened with the cows. Let me see what she ended up saying. But anyway, I wrote her back the following day. No, because I'll tell you another story, funny story about cows. By the time I went back and looked, the cows were running out of the backyard. And so I wrote her the next day and I said, did you hear what happened with Cowgate? And she wrote and she said, no, nothing yet. I was darn. She says, okay, now I've gotten 2 messages from 2 different group threads that there is a black bear on the grounds at High Point Condos, and that is just down the street from Shebang, which we're probably less than a quarter mile from Shebang. So there's black bears now too. And another friend of mine sent a video yesterday of a young cow running through his pasture all alone as fast as he could. So I wonder if the cows busting loose has anything to do with the black bears. So yeah, we've got crazy stuff going on Monkey Island. Hi, Cat and Paste. Oh, you want a cow in your backyard? This is the craziest thing. Anyway, years ago, long before I ever moved to Oklahoma, I was down here visiting my parents, and I was staying with a friend of my mother's. And she had land, and she leased her land that people ran cattle on. So one day I was at her house alone. I told Dee Dee and Buddy this story yesterday. I was at her house alone, and somebody banged on the door, and I went and answered the door, and he said, ma'am, I think one of your cows is out in the road. And I said, oh no. I said, well, do you want me to go out in the garage and see if I could find a rope for you? Because I'm from Denver. I'm a city girl. I wouldn't know the first thing about a cow. What do you do with a cow? And he just looked at me like I lost my mind. And he said, darling, you ain't going to catch that cow with no rope. I was like, oh boy, what do I do? What do I do? I'm in charge around here and I don't know nothing about a cow. So, yeah. So now I've got cows and bears and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, that's what it's like on Monkey Island these days. That was crazy. Nothing like that ever happens around here. But now, yeah, if somebody saw a black bear too, oh my God, I'm going to have to watch Robert. I'm going to have to keep Robert on a leash. So, okay, does anybody know how you catch a cow? I think what they ended up doing is these particular cows were used to getting grain fed. I think they took a grain bucket out there and the cow walked right up to them. Riddle, riddle. There are 30 cows and 28 chickens in a field. How many didn't? All right, I'm not getting it, Barbara. You'd be okay with a cowboy in your backyard too? Oh, this guy was grizzled. He was an old guy. It does sound like a sitcom, right? I can barely herd cats. You and me both, Dee Dee. You should watch Cat and I. We're both cuckoo. And what else have I been doing? I've been working on my stamp sample, and I did do a cool page. I had to make a new section because I bought different kind of stamps than I used to buy. And this is a page from it. Ephemera and tickets. So I'm actually having a lot of fun doing this. And I'm not feeling a lot of pressure, just cutting them out and coloring them, doing whatever I want, when I want. It's all working out good. Now comes the hard part, is kind of separating out which is old, which is new, which I've stamped, which I haven't. And I haven't really come up with a procedure for how I'm going to do that. So, yeah. And then today I'm going to work. Dee Dee, do you want me to show the Pantone cards, or can I not do that? Thanks, Terry. It's a play on words, as 28 actually means 28. So of the 30 cows, 28 chickens, meaning 10 didn't eat chickens. Okay, I get it. Oh my God. Show them? Okay. I was going to make you guys pick out what ones I was going to work on, and I thought, oh, that's really setting myself up. And I've shown these. And actually, this little guy, I think, is in the book that I'm going to show you here right now. And I'm sorry for the glare, but I need the light, so I'll have to tip it. And I think these are kind of in the order that I did them. Ooh, don't need to knock my drink off. That could be really bad. That's Mira Engelbright, butts on things. That one always reminds me of CB. Okay, yeah, I try and leave like 50% of the card is the color, like this deep forest one. The background is the color, and I just drew white on top of it because I like that Zentangle, is what I saw. And that one is the green. I wish I had that color green today, but oh well, I don't. And that was red. This was kind of, I tried to save that card because I ended up not liking it at all. But yeah, the Minion. This one came out better than I expected. Devin, Bossy But. And this one, obviously, the green leaf. So I figure if I can keep 50% of the card's color, we're good. And this one I cheated. He's not 50%. This one was a black background. So sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. This one, it's the blue background. And some of them I have to come up with something that's not the color of what it is. This is obviously the red card that I painted on top of. That I think is gouache painting, which I haven't done gouache painting in forever. This also is gouache. Most all of them are colored pencil. I spy with my little eye duck butts. I didn't get this fabulous overnight. That's one of my favorite snark sayings. I don't know where he came from. I think I just made him up out of that monster book. And that I did use a stencil in the background. So they're all a little different. What were these called? So that one's also gouache. The Fruit Loop cereal bowl, well, Fruit Loops aren't going to be so pretty when we get rid of all those poisonous dyes, which I'm A-okay with. I really love the tatted ones. I want to do more of those. Care Bears. There you go, Care Bears. And this is a Helen Elliston out of one of her books. And then today, when I decided, or yesterday, whenever I decided I was going to do this, first thing I did was get out the Helen Elliston, Care Bears. I could not think of it. So yeah, I haven't done a Pantone card in a while. I may not even remember how, but I thought I would pick out something to draw and then see if I had a card that would work for that. Okay, there's the little squirrel guy. And if you're not familiar with Helen Elliston books, Dee Dee has shown them. Dee Dee did this candy one time on her stream years ago. Came out awesome. But the cool thing about these Helen Elliston books is the things that she has you draw are usually pretty darn easy. Like anybody could do this green olive, right? But she gives you the colors of Prismacolor to use and the order to do it in. So if you're not familiar with using your Prismacolor, or you want to get better, I would highly recommend these Helen Elliston books. They're pretty inexpensive. And if you follow her instructions, you almost can't goof up. And of course, some things are going to be more complicated, but if you just want a place to go learn, like I'm definitely going to be doing this lemon slice at some point. Yeah, you almost can't go wrong. And she'll generally give you the line art so that you can, you have a place to start. If you're not confident in your drawing ability, she'll give you the line art. And there is no such thing as cheating. You can trace that for your own use to improve your skills. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because I think when most people draw on color or do stuff, they're highly, highly critical of their own work. Well, so if you can trace that and at least get the perspective right, and then work on your coloring and shading and stuff like that, you're only helping yourself. So don't feel like you're cheating. You're not cheating. I generally don't use her line art, but if mine doesn't turn out exactly like hers, I don't sweat it, because I figure every time I do something, I'm learning something. So yeah, her books are awesome. Like, look at that toast. It looks good enough to eat. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, I would recommend Helen Elliston's books for somebody who wants to get better at drawing, using your colored pencils. None of her material is difficult, but it's all very cool. And I think the more and I put this here because if I run out of time, I might do one of these wax seals. Because, it's not that big a deal, but if you can make it look realistic, that's a very cool thing to learn. Bloody eyeball or seeping eyeball. Who doesn't want to learn to do that? And if I say it, it's definitely true. Here's an ice cube. Do you know ice cubes for years and years in advertising were using subliminal messaging in the ice cubes? Did you guys know that? It's not a conspiracy theory. I mean, it could be, but in this case, I don't think it is. But yeah, they were using subliminal stuff on you all the time. I think Dee Dee did this acorn one time too. So yeah, they're great books, and I don't care what your skill level is. You'll learn something if you do it. And I'm going to do the pine cone today. So that's where we're at. And then which I will have plenty of time, I think. If I have time, I've got another one that I've got planned. Now, what do I do with the card? Hi, Christina. I hope I haven't missed anybody. So this morning at Dee Dee's, I went ahead and sketched out. Okay, let me show you. Mine's not exactly like hers. And of course, I did it bigger. But I tried to get basically the same angles and stuff like that. So there's my pine cone, and that's her pine cone. I don't care if it comes out exact. Angie, you say that, and to me, that's just an easy excuse for not trying. Ask Terry Brett. Terry Brett, I'm going to ask you, and you tell people in chat. When you started messing with me and Dee Dee, which was a fateful day in your life, only made it better. Did you have the feeling that you could draw? wait for Terry's answer, because I'll bet you $100 Terry will say, no, I would have said I can't draw anything. Now look at Terry's prompt post that she puts on Instagram. Terry can draw, but I'll bet you $100 at one time Terry would have said, I can't draw. I would have said that too, and I imagine Dee Dee at some point too. Nobody can draw until they start drawing. Terry draws everything. Exactly, right? People, any prompt Dee Dee gives her, Terry jumps right in and does it. But I know that Terry was very critical of her work just not very long ago. So you have to do it. You just have to do it. And there are a couple books that I would recommend. One is Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Because Terry would have said, this is what she's saying. I would have said, I can't draw. I have to admit, even I can see a difference in my work now because you've done it, and that's the difference. But the first book I would recommend is Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And she was a teacher. Ruth Edwards was a teacher. Or is it Ruth Edwards, Dee Dee? Anyway, and she shows her students' work from when they start her class until when they finish her class. And the reason I believe everybody can learn to draw is because everybody learned to write the alphabet. And that's all it is. You try not to use either side. Betty Edwards, that book, because it will change the way you think about drawing. Rather than saying immediately, oh, I can't do that, she makes you try. And then the other one is, I can't remember the name of the artist. I'll go pull it. Oh, it's called Drawing for Dummies. Betty Edwards, yeah. There's another book called Drawing for Dummies, and I don't know who wrote it, but it's like the Doing Anything for Dummies, where they kind of just walk you through it. And they walk you through some very simple drawing techniques. And you don't realize as you're doing it that you're learning. You're learning how to shade, you're learning how to see, you're seeing things very different. And I'm not necessarily promoting drawing, but I think that's kind of the basics. When you can start seeing the shadows, when you can start seeing the highlights, all of your work will come out better. Hi, Marguerite. Artist's Way is a good book. I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, but that Betty Edwards book, that's been out for 100 years. I think the first time I saw it, I was in college, maybe. And I think I've had multiple copies of the book. So anyway, let's draw a pine cone. Practice. Yep. And kids, step-by-step books. Exactly, Terry. All right, I'm going to erase some of my lines here before I start, because I won't get a chance later. And the lines I'm erasing I gave myself a basic shape to start with, and that's kind of what I'm erasing here. And then I drew on it with a Verithin, a Prismacolor Verithin, which is a hard lead version of the Prismacolor Premier colored pencils that most of you probably already have. Prismacolor are my favorite. These eraser pens, they're awesome. I've got multiples of them. Yeah, Drawing for Dummies. That's another good book for people who are a little bit intimidated, saying that they can't draw. Yep. And it's fun. There's no pressure. And there's another artist, and I'll see if I can't think of her name as I'm sitting here. Another, in fact, I'll go get one of the books here in a minute. A really complicated, I'll pull you guys down. That's better. If you feel like something's really complicated, you can always make a grid on something clear, like a sheet protector or something like that, and draw a grid, and you'll be amazed what you could draw. If you grid it out. And that's another great way to learn, because it makes you see things in smaller pieces. It's almost like drawing negative shapes. If you're going to draw a chair that has rails in it, you don't draw the rails, you draw the space in between the rails. And believe it or not, you'll get your perspective right, because it's almost like you're trying to draw nothing, but you're just drawing the shape. Does that make sense to you guys? And so this card, in my opinion, was kind of the mid-tone of the pine cone. So I'm going to be putting in only the lights and the darks and leaving kind of the mid-tone color. And a lot of this probably will disappear. I'll color over it or end up erasing it, whatever. Or if you want to learn how to color, go over to Cat and Paste YouTube channel and watch her work magic with color. And Kat doesn't advertise it, but she is a trained artist. Shapes, colors, tones is what you need to know when you paint. Yeah, and honest to God, you just have to do it. Sadly, yeah. You just have to do it. And these Pantone cards, if you order them, when they come, I can't show it anymore because I've done all mine, but they come with a coated surface. So that was when I bought my gouache paints, but they never really worked on it because there's no absorbency in these cards, none at all. So I got so frustrated that I ended up painting mine with matte medium and giving them a different surface, because the coated cards would not take colored pencil. They took the gouache, but it would just sit there because there was no absorbency. So I was so frustrated. So I just took all 100 cards and painted matte medium on them. So that's why these will take the colored pencil. And it's also why, to some small extent, I can erase on them. But the cards by themselves, no, you have to treat the cards. Or Ann Lair, I think, did mostly collage on hers, which was cool. But yeah, if you want to color and work on top of them, you do have to treat the surface. Yeah, gouache. I haven't worked with my gouache in the longest time. I don't particularly care for the gouache, to be honest. It reminds me of chalky watercolors, so. I let my dad and then my first husband destroy self-confidence, stop drawing and doing watercolors. Oh, Brenda, you need to go back. You need to erase that crap from your head, you know? I don't understand why some people are that way. I don't care how talented you either think you are or don't think you are. Um, or even if it's something you just enjoy doing and you never get good at it. Who cares? If you like doing it, do it. That's how I feel. Just do it. Okay, this is another funny thing that I do. When I'm getting close to running out of a colored pencil, rather than throw it away or use pencil extender, I just go ahead and glue it to its replacement because I always have replacement pencils. So this one I glued together not very long ago, and it's still got the tape on it. But yeah, I just tape them together so they have two ends because I'm cheap. That's what cheap people do, right? It's been so long since I've done this. And this is just, let's see, burnt ochre. And it really is just a little bit redder than the color I just put on. But normally when I do this, I only use like 3 or 4 color of pencils because the mid-tone range is the card. I have a bunch of nubs, but yeah. Just adding this to make it a little bit richer. I'm going to start out pretty light. I don't know. I'll probably erase out some of this. And there is a little bit of texture on the cards from the brush marks when I did the, oh, let me get my, maybe. All right. Indecisive over here. I'll sharpen the sepia to make myself some. I haven't been drawing much lately. I love to draw, but I haven't much lately. They make it too easy now. You can buy stickers, you can buy stamps, you can buy stencils. They just make it too dang easy for you not to draw, you know? I didn't get my other color out. Oh, well. I do have one of those other pencil sharpeners. I don't know where I found this one, but I've started using this one. I like it. I don't even know where I got it. Academic. Don't know, but I do like it. I get quiet when I draw in color. That's probably why I don't do it a lot on stream. The Cat and Paste say, always when someone criticizes you, it's simply because your talent exceeds their perception. There you go, Cat. I like that. I don't think you'll find that too much in this community, to be honest. I really don't. I think we're all pretty darn supportive of one another and encouraging. So I would say if it's something you love, do it. And I think more importantly, and I think Terry could probably talk about this too, is a lot of people do it, but then they get shy about sharing it. I don't think you have to be that way in this community. I think we're all going to encourage each other to be better, to show your work. So that's why I'm always really happy when people join an ATC swap or something for the first time. Yeah, you got to show your work, you know. And if you want feedback, tell people, you know, give me feedback. What could I have done better? I will always offer feedback if I think it's going to be helpful. I'm never going to be critical, but I would definitely offer feedback. Yeah, I can't imagine how you could discourage people from doing something they love. That just doesn't make sense to me. And honestly, I don't share my art a lot with my family, not because I think they'll be critical. It's just not something that they share. But I don't mind sharing it with you guys. But I do think sharing it can be very beneficial. But personal choice, you know? And there, you know, there's something that comes with age, and I'm beyond it now, is there was a time that I would have maybe cared what people thought. There, see, Terry said it exactly like what I thought everybody's experience in this community would be. Share your art. We'll all be encouraging, but yeah, along with age comes this attitude that I don't give a crap what you think. You should get it out, Terry. That would be so much fun to see. I have some work, not much, because when my basement flooded, I lost a bunch of art, mine and other people's. But anyway, yeah, I encourage people, show your stuff. And you get to have an opinion about anything in my life when you start paying my bills. Until you start paying my bills, I don't give a rat's ass what you think. How about that? And that's how we'll get along, okay? Well, one thing I would say, Angie, is I feel sorry for your mother, because I've seen so many older people that would be so much happier if they would have a craft or a hobby or something they enjoy doing, because I promise you, there will come a time in your life when you quit working and you need something to fill your days. And it's better to fill your days with something you love doing rather than sitting and watching TV. Because that TV, it's rotting your freaking brain. Just saying. So, Angie, don't you feel a bit bad? You keep doing what you love, taking it out in the people, selling it, doing whatever it is you want to do with it. It's what's going to keep you sane. And I can't tell you how many people I've heard that from, oh, I wish I had something, a hobby. I wish I had, you got to have a hobby. You got to have something you love doing. And I'm filling this in pretty sketchily. Sketchily is a word, okay. So I can go in and add some other colors, so at some point I'll have some depth. You got your artwork from 79 and 81. Wow. I wish I had some of the art I did back when I was in college. I really do. I don't know what happened to any of that. Probably got ruined in the flood. But yeah, some of it I'd love to have. Partly because I'd be interested in comparing to, I didn't really get to art much when the kids were home, obviously. I mean, we had stuff that we were doing, keeping them busy or and I didn't have time to work on it. But now I would love to be able to compare, what have I learned? What am I really good at? I definitely know what I enjoy doing more now. My set of doctors are, I will be in a wheelchair in the next few years. I'm doing my part to avoid that. Brenda, that's a great way to look at it. You're going to need something to keep yourself busy and enjoy, something to look forward to every day. Fortunately, when my husband ended up in a wheelchair, he He loved reading. I mean, you could have put him in a library and you'd never had to worry about him again. So that was a saving grace. Ending up in a wheelchair is probably a little bit scary thing, but it doesn't have to be. And that's the thing is it's all, well, everything in life is pretty much an attitude. Go into it with a good attitude. Be thankful for what you have, not what you don't have. I mean, I guess that's a life lesson that all of us at some point end up having to learn. Let me read chat real quick. Hey, K-Berg, did I say hi? Thank you, Keeks. A sparkly purple wheelchair with a souped up motor. There you go. See? The one thing I learned when my husband was in a wheelchair is all you buttholes that park in handicapped spaces. I never realized how valuable a parking spot was until you're dealing with somebody in a wheelchair. If Robert even parks next to a handicapped space, I'm like, let's move. I don't like it here. Let's move. They're the most valuable things in the world. And I think I've bitched about this before, but why not? I'll bitch about it again. People who tell you that something is handicapped accessible. One time, and before Jim ended up wheelchair bound, he had been perfectly healthy. I mean, so it was quite a life change for us. But I was taking him to Denver one time, driving from Oklahoma to Colorado through Kansas. And of course, I called ahead because I had zero familiarity with, you learn quick, handicapped accessibility and stuff like that. And so I had called about whether or not it truly was handicapped accessible. Oh, yes, we have ramps. We have, it's handicapped accessible. I get there and it's a drive up one, you know, a motel where your car is parked outside of your room, because I figured that was going to be the easiest thing. Well, the thing was, we're way out here. The office is way over here. My car's parked here. The ramp to get into your room is here by the office. Then we get inside, and if they thought that was a handicapped accessible bathroom, I'd love to see them deal with that. So yeah, that's another pet peeve of mine. When you say that you're handicapped accessible and there's nothing handicapped accessible about the crap you're selling. So those are things to look out for. But it's not the worst thing in the world either, you know, so keep that in mind. One thing I'm going to do here, I don't think I've ever tried it before. I'm coloring more than I kind of expected to. I'm going to try using, if I have one here, I should get out a new one, I suppose. Let me see how clean this one is. Thanks, Cat and Paste, to smooth out some of this. Okay, this is going to work. Because I've got the brush marks in the on the face of the card, I'm going to try and just smooth some of this out a little bit. Because I don't know if you guys can see it on screen, but I sure can. So I'm either just pushing that wax in or just smoothing it out. It helps. Until you're in a wheelchair or have someone close to you who you don't know. Exactly, Terry. That was probably one of my biggest surprises. And my other biggest surprises when Jim very first got disabled. And I was learning about what truly is handicapped accessible and which is not. I would be so nervous going out in public. You can pretty much depend that hospitals and doctors' offices and stuff like that, if they say handicapped accessible, they truly are. I mean, like those people are coming in and out all the time. Every place else is a great big fat maybe. So one nice thing about airports and like Sam's Club, this is where it hit me the first time, is a trip to Sam's Club for Jim and I was, you know, like a full day trip. So it wasn't like we could avoid using the bathroom. He pretty much had to use the bathroom. So at Sam's Club, they have designed their bathrooms where you're not going in and out of doors, because that was another thing. Jim couldn't open a door in his wheelchair. And so like to go to the men's room, I mean, I would just stand outside and hope and pray that maybe some nice person would help. But one nice thing is places, airports, Sam's Club, they've designed their bathrooms so that you can go in and roll around and then go, rather than having to open a door. There was just so many things that, yeah, I just didn't realize. Sure is nice having this camera to be able to look. Dot, did you have another fall? Oh, Dorothy, see, that's just it. You know, like if you have a handrail, if you do have a handrail, why wouldn't you keep it tightened up? You know, like what is wrong with people? I don't know. I guess as each of us get older, we're going to be faced with some of this. I'm glad you're okay, Dorothy. but it's unnerving. And another thing I would say, if Brenda, since you've been told that you might end up in a wheelchair, I would say talk to people and get some free advice. You know, like, what are the pitfalls? What are things that are going to catch me up? Because believe me, it doesn't take very long. Okay, here's another one. We were in therapy when Jim got out of the hospital. And they had converted a retail store in town into the therapy office. But again, they didn't have a damn ramp. And so fortunately, I got to be really good friends with the lady who ran it. And one day I had finally just had it. Now, one thing, their personnel were really good, that if they saw you pull up out front and you were in a wheelchair, they would send somebody out to help you every time. So I was thankful for that. But I finally got so fed up that I went in and told the director one day, if you don't fix this damn, you know, and I'm probably cussing at her and everything, this damn parking lot, so that handicapped people, every one of your customers, can get in and out. What the hell is wrong with you people? And she was just another one. She said, nobody's ever said anything, and I have never thought about it. Like, how could you not think about it? You know, I was so flabbergasted. But I will say, for that woman, I wonder where she's gone to, because she sold her house. I drove by it the other day and her house had sold. But therapy was incredibly expensive. I don't know if you guys have ever had to do physical therapy of any kind. It's incredibly expensive, and your insurance is going to fight you on it. I have to say, that woman busted her butt to get Jim's therapy covered and paid for. And she ended up, they approved a certain amount, and I was just like, I was complaining to her a lot about the therapy. And she said, I'll go over to the hospital and ask for some grant money. And she got all of our therapy sessions knocked in half, which was huge, because we were paying about $500 a week for therapy for Jim. So yeah, that made a huge difference when she came and said, I got the grant and all of your therapies will be 50% now. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Made a huge difference. I don't know if that was before or after I cussed at her. Yeah, she was, and she was young too. She hadn't been in the job that long, so that she didn't realize all the pitfalls that customers would face using their services. I think she thought that you went, if the doctor ordered your therapy, that your insurance would automatically cover it. They didn't. So she was learning along with me about the pitfalls of a sudden injury or something that leaves you disabled. Because she said, I didn't realize insurance companies were doing this to the number of patients that she was seeing get a little bit screwed over by their insurance companies. But the therapy helped. So if your doctor recommends you know, physical therapy of some kind. If you can, and your insurance will let you. She was even good about giving us therapy things to bring home and work at home. So, yeah, be nice to the people who can help you. Well, be nice anyway. Sometimes it's almost impossible, but try. All right, this looks better to me now that it's going to be smoothed out. Where did my little eraser go? All right, I'm liking it pretty good. Now she went back and added a lot of highlights on them. I don't know. I don't think of a pine cone. I'll crispen some of them up, but I think I have enough. I wish I'd saved that other pencil out. You can still see the brush marks, and unless I color it in absolutely black, that's going to have to stay. I think I can mitigate it a little bit, but not a huge amount. Hey, View. Finally, one last fall reduced 40 plus what I had paid, so total of 18. Yeah, it's crazy, Brenda. Crazy. Okay. All right, great. I'm glad we got that solved for you, Joyce, because that's just weird. That almost has to be your particular email. I'm not sure what it is, if there's a setting or something that's not right, but yeah, since Dee Dee or I, neither one, could get your emails, it's almost got to be something with you. I almost feel like I want to color some brown around this, but because it's the Pantone card, I almost feel like I ought to leave it alone. Maybe crispen up some of my lines. got quiet in here, sorry. All right, to me it's looking okay. Thanks for doing that, Dee Dee. Yeah, I'm glad it's over too, Joyce, and I think it definitely has something to do with your particular email. Just saying. Just saying. See, now I could just keep looking and doodling, looking and doodling. Thank you, Dorothy. All right, let's put a date on it. I might come back and dink around with it more. I don't know how long I've been doing these crazy Pantone cards. Don't even know. I'll erase it and clean it up a little bit better. Okay, put that one aside. Now we're going to work on a green one. I'll need the white and the black probably. Probably not those. All right, that, oh no, no, no. I just lost the picture that there it is. But it was bigger. That's all right. We're going to draw a jar of pickles. Thanks, Keeks, Devin, Dorothy. We're doing a jar of pickles. And again, I picked out 3 or 4 pencils. And I did kind of sketch out the pickles in the jar. So let me see, maybe I can keep this out here. Oh, let me get my kneaded eraser and maybe it can act as a stand. I need a new kneaded eraser. Yeah, pickles or pickle slices. They're spicy pickles. They're the kind that Denise freaked out. And I used the total wrong color green, but I think I can make them disappear. I think I'll use this. No, maybe I'll use the black. All right. Let's get a good point. You know what? In fact, I'm going to get out one of the Verithin pencils because they keep a point for a little bit longer. These are just, I'm going to pull you out for a minute. These are just the hard lead Prismacolor. So I think for the drawing, this is what I did the drawings with. They're a little bit harder to blend and stuff like that. So I was going to color with them, and I thought, no, because then blending and everything. They're actually regular sized pickles in a gallon container. So, yeah. Let's just start here. Dang, that looks almost fluorescent on it. Can you guys see that color at all? Let me pull you down a little bit. I might have to get out the yellow. I'm hoping you guys can see that. I guess you could do this really any order you want. For me, it's easier to do like not the total highlight, but the lightest color first. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to put the white rim on or not. And on these little warts, I guess you'll call them on the pickle, I don't know that it's important that you get them all in the right spot. I guess it is important that you get the shading on them the same, because the light's hitting them all virtually the same. Come on, equipment, work with me here. This one almost has none. And that one has one. All right, I'm going to soften. Hi, Flo. Let's see if my other one's in here. I am going to get out a new kneaded eraser. I've had it with that one. I used it with pan pastels and it's gotten really hard and icky. This one will work better. All right, this should work better. Let's see. I'm testing my pencils over here. There, this is the lighter one. And now it's really light. Pickles is a weird thing to draw, huh? But when you have these cards, you got to think outside the box. And I tried to use Google Lens on these to see if I could use it to find things that were that color. It doesn't work that way. So I sent them in a report and told them, y'all need to change Google Lens so that I could find things that are a particular color. I don't know if they ever will, but yeah, I just felt like that would be perfect. I mean, you can type in Google search things that are the color of a Prismacolor or a Pantone color. But I'm going to say it doesn't work great. Your own imagination probably is better. I'm going to have to draw some of them as flowers, though. I think they're about the only thing that that come in those kind of colors are flowers. So maybe next time I do this, I'll draw some flowers and use some of the weird colors that I've got. You thought it was a cactus? Nope, pickles. Reminds me of Denise. Spicy pickles. Thought she was going to have to wash her mouth out. Had to empty my sharpener. Yikes, there was a lot in there. Now we'll see if I can know how to get it back together. Didn't want to sharpen anymore. It had so much junk in it. And because of the matte medium, it will smear. Starting to look like pickles with their little warts on them now. It's weird. This pickle in the picture almost has no warts on it. I thought that green was darker than that. I'll make it darker. Drawing a good pickle. You know, the only time I really like pickles, I do like pickles, but I never think to get out a pickle and eat it. But I love dill pickles in tuna fish. I love that. Yeah, I hardly ever just get out a pickle and eat it. Hardly ever. One of Robert's grandsons really loved pickles. Take him to the store. Joe, what do you want? Pickles. He'd drink the juice. Ugh. All right, I hope I'm not going to be sorry about this. No, I got to finish this one. Hang on. This is a great example of drawing in the negative space. Those shapes right there. When I'm looking at my reference art, to kind of keep things in perspective, the shapes of what's around the pickle will keep your drawing better. So I pay a lot of attention to the negative space. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to draw in the white jar. I think I might, because it's actually more like a crock than a jar. I'll see how well the white pencil will work to do it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not going to get out acrylic paint or anything. Oh, this was the darkest, I think. Yeah. Hang on just a second, you guys. All right, Robert's going to go check the mail for me. See if we got any more ATCs in. See, what makes these hards is I'm not coloring the mid-range color. And as I'm working on it, I keep thinking, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. But the thing is, I don't need to do that because that is the mid-range color, you know? Okay. No mail yet. Either there's nothing in the mail or they haven't delivered yet. We've been having really crazy mail. I don't know what happened to our regular guy. I was hoping we'd get some more in today. They just had a recall on some eye drops that you put in your eyes for dry eye. Well, there you go, Angie. You need to know that information since you're using them. Very rarely use eye drops. All right, where's that pickle underneath going? There's other pickles underneath there. In fact, this one. You can just barely see it under there, but it's there. I wish I hadn't done that. I guess this is where the light is really hitting it, and it looks just clear over there. And this is actually a little lighter than I've depicted it, so. This color that I'm working on, Kat, I don't know. Just has a number, not the name, but I'm going to get out a yellow. No, maybe I have it in the... Oh, I split up my Verathins by warm and cool, so I only have half of them here. All right, let me get out the yellow and see if I can... I wondered when I picked that chartreuse if I was going to like it. Do that one. And that's my favorite yellow. All right, we're going to try that. But they look good. I like them so far. They'll look good when I get the white on them. Let me see about this yellow. Of course, now I've got the chartreuse on there. I'm not sure how much. I think I like that better. I wish I'd used the yellow from the beginning. Yeah, I like the yellow a lot better. When I was choosing colors, I told myself, just choose the yellow. No, the chartreuse will look better. Dumbass me. Some of this I'm barely touching. You'd be surprised how much color the matte medium grabs. Thanks, Belinda. It is kind of crazy when you think about using the color as your mid-range. I have to say it's harder than just starting from scratch. It really is. Working around a color, it's a pain in the butt. All right, now I'm gonna, I think, I'm not sure. No. I think I'll try that with white. I may or may not be able to do it. I might have to get the white pen out. I don't know. I know I will for the highlights. And you never know how much the camera is going to pick up. But I will, when I'm done, I will post a picture of these. If you look at most people's Instagram, you know, like their whole account, I think mine is one of the weirdest ones out there because I've got Zentangle, I've got butts on things, I've got crazy abstract watercolor, now I'm going to have pickles. Just like, what the hell is wrong with you? I got too much time on my hands is what's wrong with me. And now I think I will, that's a hard lead. I think I'll take the 2B lead because I can get a finer point on it, I hope. If not, I'll try and find them. No, this will work. Try and find a mechanical pencil where I can get a real fine point. To make the little warts. Doesn't take much. But when you do this, especially if you put matte medium on your cards, you have to be really careful brushing it because you will move the Prismacolor and the lead. But these nail brushes are perfect for that. All right, I'm going to use a white pen, and it better work with me or I'm going to be really pissed off. Pantone pickle? You going to work with me, pen? You going to work with me? Come on, come on. Actually, I'm going to use the white first on this and see if it's going to. The white's working pretty good, actually. Because parts of these pickles are just sticking right out of the liquid. Guess I won't have to use it too much. All right, let me see. The only reason I can use this white pencil on top of this card like this and for it to show up good and white is because of the matte medium. If it wasn't for the matte medium, none of these pencils would be working on this card. Just heads up. I think it was Starla. Starla's always sending me cool things to look at, to buy. But anyway, she knows that I'm obsessed with compasses and circles. And apparently some guy, I didn't get his name, it's on my Instagram messages, but needed to cut a circle out of a piece of paper, which you'd think, well, that's easy. Well, not necessarily. If you're going to do it out of the middle of the page, right, your punches or anything aren't going to work because they only work on the edges. But this guy figured out to put a Cricut blade in the space where the lead goes on your compass, and you can cut any size circle out of the middle of a sheet of paper. So guess what I'm ordering? I will be able to cut circles in everything, even couches. I love getting tips like that, because normally I just draw the circle and then cut it out with an X-Acto. Well, that's hard to get really perfect. But with a Cricut blade, which are real sharp, I should be able to get perfect circles out of everything, don't you know? Even couches. Yeah, well, that's what the original is like. See, they've got it in a that's a gallon crock sort of thing, you know. And so, yeah. And then I can come back in and draw. All right. Work with me here. I'm almost done. You had to turn into a pain in the ass now. Because there is kind of a lip around. And I'll go back in and do the shadows, like in this one here in a minute. Now in the corners, you know, I could do a stencil in there or anything I want. I probably won't do anything, honestly. But, all right, let's get this shadow in here a little bit. That's a crazy thing that's in there. I don't know why all of a sudden you can see just a piece of green in there. I'll leave it. Come on, work with me here. Ah, it's not wanting to write. I did get the white on there. Let's put a little bit of white on this one up here. Doesn't really want to write on here. Hi, Rachel. All right, time for a sip. All right. Did I get it all? A little bit of white in here. Does that white look weird? I love pickled asparagus. I don't know. It looks pretty okay to me. I don't think I have that particular angle just right. I'm really glad I got this yellow out. Oh, that pickles makes you want another nap? What in the world? I can't imagine how your brain is thinking, Ange. See a pickle. I think I'll take a nap. Now, if I see a pillow or a warm blanket, yeah, I might go take a nap. But a pickle? That makes me want to make some tuna fish. Yeah, I will, Dorothy. I'll knock them back a little bit. Not sure. Yeah, let's try this one. The thing about the white lines is that's what the liquid does, but you're right. Mark it back a little bit. Is that better, Dorothy? You're not right. Yeah, I pretty much figured that out, Angie. But you're good. You're good. Don't you worry about it even a little bit. I don't know. Came out pretty good. I could darken up the darks a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to. And I could smooth it out. Let me see about this one especially. The matte medium is hard because it left the brush lines, but that's fine. But on pickles, you kind of want those crisp lines. Okay, thanks, Dorothy. We're finally going to have some nice weather here this week, you guys. And I'm so ready because we had nothing but crap weather for the last week or more. We deserve some nice weather. I think I'm maybe going to go to Joplin on Thursday. We didn't go last week because it was just too crapola weather. I'm not going to get in and out of the car all day when it's soaking ass wet. I'm just not going to do it. I'll starve first. Thanks, Cat and Paste. All I'm doing right now is trying to knock back some of those brush marks from the matte medium. But I'm okay with it. Looks like pickles to me. Didn't look good enough to eat. Makes you want a pickle though, doesn't it, Bossy? Overripe cucumbers. This here is very bothersome with the brush marks, but I'm not sorry I did the matte medium on them, to be honest. Because I think I like the ability to work with colored pencil. Otherwise, you really would have to just do probably collage, because nothing, well, maybe acrylic pens. I could use acrylic pens on them, I guess. You desperately need rain. Oh my gosh, we've had so much rain. So much rain, it's ridiculous. All right, you guys. Oh, I was going to go get that one book. And actually, the picture is much more yellow than the actual cards. But, all right, what the heck. There's the drawing and the reference art. So the color depiction is not necessarily true, but yeah, it's pretty all right. I like it okay. You couldn't take it. You went and got a pickle. That's funny, Ange. All right, let me go get that other artist that I was talking about earlier. That if you want a good pressure-free instruction book. Ouch. Okay, I grabbed a couple since we've got a little bit of extra time. But these are artists or books that I think really helped me. And somewhere around here I have, I kind of put myself in school and had bought the books and made myself do what the books were telling me, you know? And it was really, really, in my opinion, time well spent. This one is primarily graphite, but I love drawing with graphite. And if I was going to say anything, if you want to improve your drawing, start out using just graphite until you get your shading and your highlights and everything kind of worked out. It really, really helps. Because this little guy is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. But you can see how much dimension the shading gives him. And you can use a template to draw 5 circles, right? But it will teach you about getting that dimension that you want in your drawing. And I would say start with just graphite. And you don't need anything special. Get yourself a really inexpensive set of pencils from Hard. to soft. That's not the soft one. The soft one's here somewhere. 2B. I think I have one up to 6B. And you'll go through them. Yeah, there's the 4B. So, but I think graphite is the best place to start. Hi, Ruth. And it teaches you proportions of faces, and you can tell this is an old book. Hair. If you do the instructions, and I've drawn that, I'll have to find the. But I worked through this book, picture by picture by picture, and read every word of it. Started the little, I've drawn this bear probably 15 times. I was going to watercolor him, is why this is in there. That's on watercolor paper. But after you kind of get a feel for your shading and stuff like that, pretty soon you can start adding color. And you'll be surprised. I've drawn these guys. And the nice thing about it is he goes step by step by step about planning. That's perspective. But see, you can draw something that is in fact nothing, that is recognizable. But you can tell by looking at your drawing that you've gotten it. When you get it, it's just like, bam, I got it. And maybe I'll do some drawing like that so you guys can see and draw along. I've drawn a lot of this texture, fur, stuff like that. But for a beginner drawing, if you want to just mess around with drawing, I would say this is a great place to start. And all my books have crap like this in it. You wonder why I don't have anything to show? Because I shove it in the book, shut the book, and then don't see the book again for 6 years. So I would say, if you're a beginner drawer, great book to start with. The Complete Idiot's Guide to Drawing People. Now, this is strictly people. And I've done all of the exercise. You can see I have these books marked up, written in, whatever. But drawing people. So you get the, oops, body parts. Don't look. I particularly like drawing hands and feet only because they have a little bit of everything in it. I've drawn this guy. In fact, I taught one of my friend's grandkids to draw that. But these two books, I don't know, you learn an awful lot. But you've got to read them and do it. And then one of my favorite artists that I have worked out of her books over and over again are Lee Hammond's books. She does a lot of graphite, but she also starts working with color. So if you've done the drawing and you got graphite down, her books are great for introducing color and stuff like that. She does a lot of drawing with grids. That's what I was telling you, draw a grid. This book is a lot about people. What pencils was she using there? Prismacolor, Coal Erase. Okay. But I think, okay, it was this drawing. Robert's granddaughter. Well, Brenda, see, one of these books would really help you. Yeah, I was a centerfold in it, Cat and Paste, How to Draw Idiot People. I was the centerfold in December 2012. But anyway, Robert's granddaughter, I don't know, she was probably 12, 13, 14, something like that. She was young teenager. And she was, whining, she can't draw. So I did a little experiment with her and made her draw by a grid. And maybe it wasn't this horse, maybe it was another one. But I turned everything upside down. I made copies of it and then turned it upside down. So she had to just draw what was in the box. That's box number 1, box number 2. And when she was done and we flipped it over, she had drawn a horse, which she loved horses. I don't remember which one it was. I'm surprised the drawing's not in here. But anyway, that's a method you could use so that you start training your brain to draw what you're actually seeing rather than what your brain thinks it's seeing. And that's what Betty Edwards' book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, kind of talks to you about. Your brain has a preconceived idea of what a hand looks like, what a chair looks like, what a horse looks like. But your brain can't translate that to paper accurately. And so you've kind of got to override your brain to draw what you're actually seeing rather than what your brain thinks you're seeing, right? Does that make sense? You've eaten 4 pickles, Angie. Oh my God, you're going to turn into a pickle. But anyway, a lot of these books I've had for years and years and years, and I worked through them. I mean, if you work with your books, you get your money's worth. I know nowadays they're so expensive. But if you work with them and get something out of them, I would say they're probably the best money you can spend. If you're interested in learning. If you're not, then go on doing whatever you're doing. You're waiting for the butt on the pickles. I didn't put a butt on the pickles. Oh, no. Where's my other drawing? There it is, underneath all my stuff. So today we got a pine cone and some pickles. It's a pea day. I almost want to put some dark around that pine cone, but I probably won't. That is gluttony. Oh no, Robert's grandson could eat a whole jar of pickles. That's not gluttony. Until you sit and watch Joe eat an entire jar of pickles and drink the juice, that's not gluttony. So I don't know which my favorite is. Maybe my favorite is the pickles. I kind of like them. So they'll be in the Pantone book next time I get it out. I'm glad that I did it, though. I forget how much I love drawing. So, yeah, if you're going to participate in the ATC swap, Sharon, did I say hi to you? With the post office like it is, you might want to try and get them in the mail. We don't have that much time left, a little over 2 weeks. So thanks, Bossy Butt, Washi Butt. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Keeks. Goldie. Hi, Goldie. I know I didn't say hi to you. Hey, Linda. Thank you. Hey, CB came in. You might have been here the whole time. Did you get your mess squared away, CB? CB hasn't been paying her bills. 2012 centerfold. That's right. Thank you, you guys. All right. I'm going to end a little bit early. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I truly, truly appreciate it. That's awesome, CB. I'm glad you paid your bills. You'll have lights next month. All right. Angel, always put up with you. Go eat another pickle, you glutton. All right. I know you guys' time is really valuable, and I very much appreciate you spending it with me this afternoon. So go do something fun, draw something, eat pickles, pick up a pine cone, whatever you do, have fun doing it. Love you guys. See you later. Bye.